Hello and welcome back. This is DragonLoon and we are back playing Songs of Syx. Now, we're gonna do a fresh start for a couple of reasons. One, I recently got a brand new computer, so let me know how the audio quality is. Still trying to get everything back to the settings that they were, or possibly even better. The other reason, I've had a chance to play this game a little bit more, and I have a little better understanding, so I wanted to do a brand new fresh start. So let's go ahead and get on in here. We are going to go single player and generator. Big map, southern latitudes. We're gonna go some population and no raids again. And we're gonna go with blue, and this is going to be Dragon Faction. Alrighty, so let's see what we can do here. We are looking for some place where we can get stone, ore, and coal with a decent amount of forestry, and decent amount of water, and a decent fertility. Oh, right. So I found one that I like. I had to reload the map a couple of times. Now up here, doesn't have any water, but it has fruit, grain, mushrooms, opiates, which aren't in the game just yet, vegetables, coal, and ore, which is what we really need. So we are going to zoom in, and we are going to... We're gonna put our capital... We'll put our capital right there, which will give us some access to some water. Now we need to actually choose a starting location, and if we zoom out we can see we have some coal right there, a little bit of stone, not much. We have a bunch of stone down here. These darker gray are mountains, and we can't build on mountains. What we're looking for is a bluish tile close to some black tiles, because the blue is ore. Aha! So we have some ore right here, we have some coal right here, and it's relatively close to a decent amount of ore, or stone. There's some more ore. And that is gems. But we only have one pocket of coal nearby. There's some more ore. I think... we'll go ahead and start... We will start right... We'll start right here. Alright, so what we're going to do before we do any actual building is we're going to turn on this right here, which is planning mode. It allows us to build as much as we want, but it won't actually get built. And we can use whatever resources we want. Again, it won't be built. So what we're going to start by doing is we're gonna just lay out some dirt roads. And I found that the best size for roads is 3 wide. So we'll just put those down like that and like that. And then we'll put one down the center too. Now, what I want to do is we are initially going to start off by putting the size, full size of each farm that we want. So I want to go 15 by 36. Now, we're not actually going to build that whole thing right away. This is just to plan out our roads. So, give me a second to get everything planned, and then I will bring you right back. All right, so what I've done is I've started by putting our mushroom farm right here. Then we have fruit, grain, and vegetables, which we'll need to harvest some vegetables. And then we have the globdine pastures right here. Now, again, we're not going to do this full size right away or any of these full sizes. So what we'll do is we'll remove all of those. And because, of course, we only have fruits, grains, and mushrooms, that's what we'll start with. So we'll do an 8x8 of fruit, an 8x8 of grain, and an 8x8 of mushrooms. And then we'll eventually expand those out as we get more people and as we get, more stock of food in general. Now, we won't do the globdine. Well, actually, we can go ahead and plan this right away. So we're going to do one pasture right there. And we need to put the entrance in. And there we go. Now, again, all of this is in planning mode, so they won't actually build this until we tell them to build it. So, the next thing that we need to plan out is our buildings. And we're going to start with a wooden building. But we're going to make our own building. So, what we're going to do is we are going to start with wooden walls. Actually, we're gonna do stone walls right away. No, I was right. We're gonna do wooden walls. And we're going to build around our throne area. So we're going to come out, leave a couple holes for our doors, and then finish out. And then we're going to come up quite a bit. All right, so that's our starting warehouse, and this is the rest of our warehouse once we have some stone. So, I think we've got a pretty good idea so far, but let's go ahead and finish putting in our roads, and then we are going to plan out our barracks. And you know what? We need to put in a door right here because we are actually going to put our barracks and kitchens and all of that over here. All right, so I haven't put in the roofs yet, but what we're looking at is, actually, I'm gonna make a slight change. So I was planning on this here being the barracks, this here being the kitchen, and this here being the canteen, or tavern, excuse me. But we're actually going to make a slight change, and we're going to extend the tavern out to there, which means we need to remove that, and then we're going to remove those two for the doors into the barracks area. So barracks, tavern, kitchens. And now we need to put our roads in like so. And then we're just gonna cover all of this in with stone roofs. Just like that. All right. Now, the next thing I know we're going to need to plan ahead of time is some weavers, a carpenter for furniture, and a metalsmithy. And we're going to make all of that out of stone again. So, give me a second. All right, there we go. So this big one here is going to be for our smithy, because we're going to need a lot of metal between things like tools and weapons smithing, and then all of the other buildings that need it. We're gonna need a lot. And then one of these 15 by 15s is gonna be for our carpentry, and one is gonna be for our weaver. And then we can put things like our clother over here and such. However, that is a nice basic start to get people going. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up here to our work tools, and we are going to activate our 3 jobs here, and then turn on the speed. And while these things are working, we might as well go ahead and throw down our stone quarry, which we're gonna put right here. And then we're going to deactivate that. And we'll need a forester. We'll put that down over here and again, deactivate both of those. And then we're going to need an ore mine right there. Again, deactivate. And a coal mine and deactivate that. All right. So now that we've got all of that going, we need to start construction on our storage area. So we're going to activate just that construction area. All right, so now that our starter warehouse is done, let's go ahead and pause, and we are going to put in our warehouse. There we go. Now I am going to make one slight change, and that is that we are going to add a couple of walls right there. And one right there. And we're gonna reduce that because, yeah, that's supposed to be just a door. All right, so let's get them building that again. Oh, and I forgot that we are still in planning mode, so we need to turn all of those on. And we are going to run out of stone, so we need to go into our workforce, go down to our quarries, and go ahead and activate those because we have plenty of population. All right, so our warehouse is done, so what we need to do is we need to allocate the 119 crates that we currently have to be able to house the resources. So what we need are the most important things. We need 10 for vegetables, mushrooms, grain, fruit, wood, and stone. Now, we also need to allocate a few for eggs so that we can start getting the globe dean. We also need at least one for meat because we're gonna put in some hunters here soon. And we should go ahead and put in for pelts. We should do 5 for ore. We'll do 10 for coal. And we'll do a little bit for cloth. And a few for cotton. And then we'll go ahead and give 5 more for the foods. All right, there we go. And then we need to assign a couple of workers. All right. So we've gotten our first harvest of our grain farm after we've gotten the warehouse, which allowed us to get more population. So what we need to do is we now need to start expanding things out. And we do that by selecting the grain farm and then selecting this little hammer button here. Now you want to wait until you've harvested things because when you start modifying the rooms, everything is lost. It pretty much demolishes the room and rebuilds it. So if it hasn't been harvested on fields, you lose all of that food. So always wait to expand things out for farms until after the harvest process has happened. So we'll expand that out, and we'll start by expanding it out like this. And then we'll add another 8 rows this way, like so. Then we'll go accept and have them build that. And from this point on, as we expand farms, whatever it automatically assigns as far as workers, we're gonna double it. And the reason we do that is so that we can produce more food quicker. And you also only want to ever expand out one farm at a time. So where the fruit farm has already harvested, even though we really want to expand that, they haven't finished the grain farm. So chances are very likely that they wouldn't finish the fruit farm expansion until springtime or maybe even summertime. So we want to be very strategic on what we expand and when. All right, so it says 3 workers. We're actually going to make that 6 workers. And then because we have time, we'll go ahead and expand out the fruit farm as well, making it just as big. All right, so I accidentally made a mistake. So we need 18 fruit to finish this, but we only have 5 in stock, which means we need to wait until summer to harvest more fruit, which means this is now not producing. It's an unfortunate thing, but it happens. All right, so while we wait for more food and more population, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn back on planning mode, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna change out all of these paths for stone, because stone paths last longer, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe they give a much better movement bonus to the population. So let me go through and put in all of these stone paths. And hopefully by then it will be summertime and we can go out into the wild and harvest some fruit so that we can finish our fruit farm. All right, so it is summertime, so let's look for, there's vegetables, we don't need that, we don't need grain, we don't need more vegetables. Hey, I was looking for that earlier. We need fruit. There's some fruit. We'll go with that one. So we'll go into harvest and we'll just select that whole thing. All right, and because we have 30 people, but we're only using 12 of them right now, let's go ahead and put in some hunting outposts. And we'll find an area where there's a lot of animals, which are these moving blue dots. We'll put down just a few of them, just like so. But what we want to do is we want to go in here, and we don't need this many people at each one of these locations. So we'll just drop it down to 2 hunters per outpost. And now we'll expand out our mushrooms. And we ran into the same problem again. We just don't have enough stored up. So we'll have to wait until summer. But look at that, we already have 35 eggs, so let's go ahead and turn on the Globedine pasture. And we'll go ahead and bump up the number of workers in here as well. All right, now we are running into a very minor issue. Sorry about that, save. So we actually have 30 days worth of food, but we're not getting any more employee or any more population. So what we need to do is go into reputation, click on the Dondorian, I believe is how you pronounce it, and then go to policies. And right now they're only getting 1 ration a day. So we're going to bump that up to 1.5 rations per day. And you see how that drops down the food stores, but it will also increase our reputation, which will allow us to get more population. The next thing that we need to do is we need to start filling these, not sure how to, desires, I guess you could say, such as clothing, food rations, food preference, things like that. So what we want to do now is start working on our kitchen, barracks, and tavern. But before we do that, we're going to expand out we're going to add a warehouse specifically for food. Because as our population grows, we're going to need a lot more food. So let's go ahead and turn on this area again. And then we're gonna let them clear this out. Ooh. But we need to add in an opening right here. I wonder if we can do that. Yeah, what we've got to do is we've got to delete that right there. And then we're gonna put in a stone ceiling right there. There we go. All right. Now, since how they're not clearing it out, we'll just go ahead and put the warehouse in. All right, so we have our second warehouse done. So what we're going to do, it has 325 crates available. So we're going to assign 20 to each food source and 10 to meat. We'll make it 30 to each of the farmed food sources. And then we're also going to assign 10 to cotton. We'll put some more stone and wood in here. So we'll do 20 of each of those. And we'll do 10 coal, 10 ore, and we'll call that good for now, because that will still leave us plenty of capacity to increase as we need more. We do need to throw in a couple of warehouse workers. Now, the other thing we want to do is we want to unallocate some storage from warehouse 1 from the food, because it will just get transferred into warehouse 2. And then we want to add in furniture, tools, and clothing, and metal. And we'll go ahead and do the cut stone as well. All right, so let's turn on the speed. And they should move all of the food from warehouse 1 into warehouse 2. The next thing we need to do is build our smelter, our furniture maker and our weavers. So we will turn on those. And while we do that, we need to check in on our stone quarries. Doing good, but we're also going to go ahead and just throw in a few more because we're going to be using stone like there was no tomorrow. Oh, and the other thing we need to do is we need to start harvesting our coal. So we need to turn on the coal mine, and we're going to actually make that 4 employees. And we need to turn on the ore mine. That way we can start building up a stockpile for once this gets done. All right, so now that that is done, what we need to do is we need to build our furnace and our furniture maker first. Reason being is because we're really short on population, and we need those two in order to make the kitchen and the tavern. We need the weaver when we go to make the barracks, so we don't need the weaver just yet. So let's go ahead and put the metal smelter in. And it is going to automatically allocate a bunch of employees into this. It's going to allocate 72, or roughly 72, employees. As soon as it's finished building, we're automatically going to drop that down to, 1 or 2. And while that's working, we're going to go ahead and put in our furniture. All right, so we got the furniture, or the carpenter, finished, and I dropped the number of workers down to 2, and we got the metal smelter finished, and again, I dropped those down to 2. That way we had enough population to go around. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to go ahead and turn on the kitchen and the tavern and get those built. All right. So now that we have this room finished, we can start putting in our kitchen. And we are going to put the storage cabinet up here at the very top. And then we're going to put in as many of these cooking stations as we can. And that's going to get them cost 96 furniture and 48 metal, which we have 123 metal and 120 furniture. So we have plenty of that. So let's go ahead and get that going. And once that gets done, then it will start cooking meals, which will increase our reputation, which will mean that we can have more population. Now, the reason that I'm worried about getting this going is because in order to have excess population, I had to drop all of these farms down to the standard 3 employees so that we had some extra employees for the kitchen. All right, there we go. And we've already got 5 employees in there. We're gonna leave the workforce at the 32 because we're gonna need all the cooks we can get. And as they cook meals, which if we go in there, you can see that they're cooking meals already, our reputation is going up because food preference and food rations are both going up. So now we can increase the employees in the farms again. And now we need to put in the tavern. There we go. And we could add in some knickknacks and carpets, but we're not going to because that's going to cost fabric, which we don't have because we don't have the employees for. But it's also going to require a lot of furniture. So one thing that we can do is go up here to our carpenter and start increasing the number of employees there so that they make furniture quicker. Another thing we can do, which I haven't been doing, is start adding doors. I like the reinforced doors, but they take metal, which is why I haven't been putting those in. And actually, I'm going to... No, I don't want that one. Oops. We're gonna do a regular wooden door there. And then the reinforced doors on the outside. A wooden door right there, because that's going into the barracks. And then reinforced doors here. Just like that. And now all we're waiting on is all the furniture, which we're slowly producing. So, while we are waiting, though, we can expand out the vegetable farm. And with us having 212 vegetables, we're just gonna make this the full length. Because, you know, we're gonna need the food. Alright, and while we're waiting for all of that to build, let's go ahead and put in our weaver. Alright, and now that we have our weaver in, we do need to start producing cotton. So we need to put in a cotton field. There we go. Alright, and the last thing that we're going to do so far is start building all of these stone paths. Which it looks like I actually missed a couple. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and let them finish making that up. We've gotten a pretty decent start for our brand new village. And because it's a small population, it still is just a village. It's not a town or anything like that. Next time, however, what we are going to do is we're going to finish making our barracks, expand out our farms to be able to bring in more food, because we're sitting at 5 days worth of food. And I don't like that low amount of food. And we're going to start doing things like making clothes, making weapons, making tools, and just generally continue to expand things out. We might even start doing some trading as well. I don't know. We'll have to see. However, I do believe that will be all for this time. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like so that it helps me, because I love seeing that. It also helps the YouTube algorithm be able to put this video out to you even quicker. And if you haven't done so far already, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of this really, really awesome content. Until next time, stay frosty out there.